Hi, I'm Dr. Diane, the Back to Love Doc. So many people ask me my story. In this video, I want to tell you my professional and personal story. I'm a clinical psychologist, relationship expert, and attachment theory specialist. I work with singles and couples. I help people get back to love. Can I help you? Two interesting things about my history. One, my professional background, and two, my personal story. But let me start with how I got here as a psychologist. I've always been fascinated in psychology. When I was little, I had Snoopy sheets. I used to fall asleep looking at Lucy, sitting in her little booth that said help for 5 cents. I somehow thought that was my calling. Thank goodness, of course, with inflation, that therapy is a little bit more than 5 cents now. But even when I was young, people came to me for advice. You might say I was a natural. I also had a traumatic event when I was 12. I was burned in a house fire. And from that, I learned the importance of getting psychological help. At the time, of course, we didn't know as much about treating acute trauma. But the study of human behavior has always been my fascination, that and psychology. I was so impressed by my first psychology professor that I ended up doing independent research with her, and the rest is history. I worked at a crises hotline in Chicago, at a treatment facility for mental illness, and I realized that I had some skills. I finished my bachelor's degree in psychology, then I moved to California, where I completed my master's degree in counseling psychology and then my doctorate at University of San Francisco. I did my postdoctoral training at Stanford and became a licensed psychologist. I've now been practicing for over 20 years. In that time, I've worked with a variety of issues, from depression to anxiety to behavioral problems, eating disorders, OCD, specific phobias, chronic pain, sleep disorders, epilepsy, and heart disease. I've been involved in multiple clinical trials because I like research and providing therapies that are proven effective to work. All of this I did before becoming a relationship expert because I like the science of therapy combined with practical coping skills. That way, the work I do with couples and individuals is combining attachment theory to figure out the root of your issues with treatments that are proven to work. I want to take therapy out of the office and make it more accessible to people online through social media, through my online courses. And on my website, backtolovedoc.com, I have a blog and more information on the other offerings that I have, or if you want to work with me. But perhaps the more interesting thing about my story is when people ask me about my own journey to find love. My story is all too common. While I was so focused on my career, life somehow passed me by. My parents were Polish immigrants, and I learned the importance of getting an education, but I also had to provide for myself in a large family. I had to work 2 jobs to put myself through college. When it came to my own attachment issues, though, you might have guessed, I was the anxious type, or someone I call Nervous Nora. My parents were there for me sometimes, but not others. My parents also got divorced, so I was a bit skeptical about how this whole thing worked. I had a failed engagement when I was young, but then I threw myself into my work and my career. One morning, before I turned 40, I woke up and said, wow, where did the time go? I had always wanted to get married and raise a family. But while I was so busy helping other people, I forgot to help myself. And it wasn't as if I wasn't trying. I did date a lot. But certainly in hindsight, I wasn't nearly as intentional as I needed to be. Like the classic anxious person, I fell in love easily, attached quickly, and then found it painfully hard to leave someone, even when it wasn't working out. I lost time, a year here, 2 or 3 years there, and before you know it, I have nothing to speak for all my relationship experience. Finally, I figured out that my anxious attachment issues were at the root of my issues. And once I connected the dots, I knew how to treat anxiety. But don't try this at home unless you have the credentials. So I did cognitive behavioral therapy on myself. I learned to change my thoughts, which changed my feelings and my behaviors. I stopped looking at missed opportunities as rejection and learned how to lighten up. What people don't tell you is that anxiety makes you heavy and negative. You enter into relationships hesitantly. On some level, you need to protect yourself, which all of this makes it hard for you to relax and enjoy. But when you're constantly checking your phone to see if they've written you back, it's exhausting. I had to figure out how to be more secure in order to have more success. I kept working on myself until I felt like I was a good communicator, and then I knew it was only a matter of time before I'd find him. But to keep myself on track, I had a dating calendar. My goal was to meet at least one new person a week, and failure was not an option. I would continue until I found him. This time, I was going to make my search for love a priority. I got rational about my blind spots and all, and sure enough, the 51st man I met was my husband, all in the span of 9 months. But my next chapter is the best part, because now I'm living proof that you can become secure in a good relationship. I've healed my own attachment wounds, and I call myself Secure Sophia. It's my life passion now to help you from what I know personally and professionally. Because when I was dating, we didn't have YouTube or Instagram or social media. I read all the self-help books I could, but they were cheesy. One book even said I should light a pink candle every day to call in the one. After I almost burned down my apartment, I wondered there must be more. And there was more, and that was attachment theory. Because once I discovered the theory, everything changed. I now call what I do for my clients date therapy. I don't want you to suffer the way that I did. But I've been where you are, tired, scared, lonely, nervous, worried that time is running out. It's never too late to find love, and once you know what the problem is, the solution is much more obvious. Subscribe to my channel to make sure you don't miss a single video. Thanks for watching. I can help you get back to love.